What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Double A Hef here with another dose of the Truth Scope. So, about to get into this one. Obviously, as you can tell by the title, this is something that I've spoken about before in the past. And honestly, I genuinely thought that, most people understand what I'm about to say and understood it when I was saying it. And then, with all the things that the BLM people were doing, finally actually came out to light. Well, I can't even say finally came out to light, because I've been exposing them. Other people have been exposing them for so long. But when it really, really went mainstream, like, oh my God, yeah, they were spending millions of dollars on these houses in Beverly goddamn Hills and shit like that off the deaths of quote unquote black men, right? But no, people still are out here believing in that. And it's probably because of people like this dude, Dr. Rashad Richey, the dude on the right. Now, I've done a video with him already. I think it's my most viewed video, actually. It's when he and Jesse, I can't even say they were going back and forth, because the interview did not last long at all. Because Dr. Rashad Richey is a super wokety woke, liberal Negro who thinks he knows what's best, and unfortunately he doesn't. He's one of those old school heads, you know what I'm saying, where Democrat, that's all they know. He's gonna sink with that ship. And again, I'm not speaking from a political standpoint. Obviously, I'm for people that's been on my channel, I'm apolitical. It just so happens that a lot of the values and principles and morals that I have, the conservative side, if you would call it that, align more with my values. So, but again, yeah, I'm not political. I'm apolitical. I used to be into politics. Back in college, I went to school to be I went to school to be a politician. I studied political science. I've helped on campaigns. I was a registered Democrat. So I'm not just talking as like some dude like, oh yeah, don't vote. I never voted ever. No, I voted before. And not even just in the presidential elections like most Americans do. No, I voted in everything. I voted in my local government. I voted for freeholders. And again, like I said, I worked on campaigns, mayoral campaigns, and also councilmen/women campaigns. So I have experience definitely on the local level of government. So again, but today, no, I do not take part in that. I don't vote. I haven't for years now, actually, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. But enough about me. Just wanted to add some context for the new listeners, and even some of the old listeners that probably missed the video where I went into all that. But yeah, before I even continue, please drop a like, drop a share, subscribe, all that good stuff. So yeah, let's play this video.
Discuss with you on the record. Let's start with the social justice movement. I believe that church should be a place that expresses and transforms policy because of its value system. What do you think?
It's very interesting that he leads with that. And, I don't like to always stop the video, but I have to address it when I hear it. So he basically just said, he believes and thinks that the church should influence policies and stuff like that. And that is just not true. He does not believe what the hell he just said, because we all know the church's values and stuff are going to be more quote unquote conservative leaning, more traditional, which is going to be against, like abortion and stuff like that, which I'm sure that he's really, really for. Again, I never heard his stance on it, but seeing how everything else he aligns himself with, would I be surprised if he said that he is for abortion? No, not at all. That's part of the course. But yeah, it's interesting that he would start off by saying, I think the churches should have some influence on policies and policy decisions, knowing that these churches don't get down with all these liberal, crazy ideas and ideologies. But I wanted to just point that out.
thoughts about the Black Lives Matter movement?
Wow, well, that's two very different things. The Black Lives Matter movement is very anti-church. It's very anti-Christian. It's a Marxist organization that was started explicitly as a Marxist organization that had openly anti-family and openly anti-Christian sentiments. Those sentiments had to be removed from their website because people found out about them. So if you're asking me about faith and Black Lives Matter, I would say that the two are mutually exclusive, especially.
Yes, everything that he just said is correct. And if, like, again, if you've been on my channel, you know I've already been saying this for years. I'm pretty sure I did a video where I went on their website and showed you where it said, "Oh, you know, we are here to affirm the lives of black, gay, and queer folks," and all this other stuff. And then it totally left out black men as a whole. Totally didn't. No mention. That video, I'm pretty sure I did do a video on it, and it's probably, you know, on this channel somewhere. But everything that this brother just said is correct. Now, what I'm beginning to think, well, I've been beginning to think this, but basically, I believe that there's a breakdown. You know, when you tell quote unquote black people, "Oh no, BLM, you know, fuck them, they're Marxists." You know, I think when you say, "Oh yeah, they're you know, anti-church," whatever. A lot of people are anti-church. A lot of these people in the quote-unquote community don't go to church, don't believe in church. You know, and the ones that are in the churches are the most demonic ones anyway. You know what I'm saying? The ones that are going to churches got the most shit wrong with them. So the ones that ain't going to church, of course, they're not pro-church. And then the ones that aren't going to church, they're doing it wrong anyway. The black church is not, it is a mockery. It is a mockery of the scriptures and all that stuff. Look. For example, you go to a black church, you're going to see a quote unquote woman up there speaking and trying to preach and teach the Bible. Already, that's wrong. Already. But then yet they'll try to tell you, "Oh, no, this is how I, break down and understand the Bible and all that stuff." Well, you know what the catch there is, ma'am? It's not up for you to understand it because you were supposed to be taught it by a man. And if the man understood the Bible properly in the scriptures, basically, then you would know that you can't hold that title. You can't hold that role. You can't teach the Bible. You would know that. So by the mere fact that you would walk into a quote unquote black church and see a woman up there, a bishop or whatever the hell they going by nowadays, or bishopess or, you know, whatever. That's already wrong. And you're telling me that you don't know the Bible. All right. And you're just going to lead your whole damn congregation to goddamn destruction. That's one. Two, you'll have gay people all up in the goddamn black church. And again, I have nothing against gay people at all. But hey, if you're going to be in a church and talking about, you know, the Bible and stuff, talking like you know the Bible and stuff, but obviously you don't, because, you know, it's made very clear that that lifestyle is an abomination. So, anyway, carrying on.
From a Christian perspective.
Okay, let me put it to you this way, because I think what you're doing is connecting an organizational structure to the movement structure. And here's where I bring them back together. There's a movement to emphasize Black lives. And that doesn't mean those individuals are part of the organization Black Lives Matter.
Okay, so this is something that I see commonly. Okay, sorry about that. But yes, that's something that I've heard a lot. Oh, you know, they're not the same as the organization. You know, we could still believe that quote unquote Black Lives Matter, but not really have a tie to the organization. Look, listen to me. If you fly in their flags and spreading their mantra, you're connected. You're connected. And if you truly believe that anyway, right, then why wouldn't you just say, "Hey, we're going to do our own thing"? Because we're going to acknowledge, hey, you know what? We're doing this and we actually stand for good, but the organization doesn't. So how about we start our own shit? That way, you know, everything's clear. Like, now we're not about that bullshit. That's them. You know what I'm saying? We used to rock with them until we found out what they was doing. But, you know, that's why we created this. So we got our own thing now, you know, but yet these people want to make you believe that, oh, no, we're separate from them. No, you're not. No. Two can't walk together unless they be in agreement. Okay? That's just the fact. So you rocking with them because you with them.
And there are some definite positives that Black Lives Matter. They've been able to work and negotiate with various governments around the country.
You mean in order to enrich themselves personally?
Yeah, and it's funny that Dr. Rashad Richey would sit here and say, "Oh, there's many things that they've done across the country and all sort of stuff." But this is the policy guy, right? Last time I did a video on him, he kept talking to Jesse Lee Peterson about the policies and stuff. So name me the policies, Dr. Rashad Richey, that help quote unquote black men? Because again, my channel is focused on quote unquote black men between the ages of 16 and 50. Okay. So, and again, one of the biggest things about my channel, which I probably haven't said in a while, because I haven't been making that many videos as of late, but nothing's changed. Look, if you want to be for the quote unquote black community, whether you're in the community or not, right? Whether you're quote unquote black or not, you first and first and foremost and only, you have to be for the quote unquote black man. And what that means is, reestablishing him as the steward of not only just his home, but his community at large. Okay, that's how you do it. We're not going to fix our problems, and nothing's going to change by making more school programs for these kids or doing things for these single mothers. All that does is incentivize these mothers to remain single, because now they got programs for the kids. Okay, I don't need a father. The program substitutes as the father, and then hey, shit, I don't need a man around because these programs for single moms is subsidizing that, right? So, but again, if you're going to answer the question, which I highly doubt, Dr. Rashad Richey, I need an answer that's going to show, hey, these are the policies that Black Lives Matter was able to get across, right? That directly impact quote unquote black men for the better. One. And two would be, hey, at the end of the day, they're still Marxists and they're still against men, and they said it over and over and over and over and over and over again. So one, I highly doubt you can point out to any policy, and even if you did, I still don't give a shit about it because they made it clear we're the enemy. And that's why this freaking no backbone having, I'm not, I hate to do that. I'm not going to call him names. But this guy is just out here being a mouthpiece for BLM. It's like, motherfucker, they don't care about you. You are the enemy. BLM's enemy is the quote unquote, well, actually, it's the quote unquote white man, right? But they use the quote unquote black man as the pawn to get their agendas across. All right? When quote unquote black men get killed, ideally, and I put that in quotes because I'm saying ideally for them, when a black man gets killed, it's by a police officer that happens to be quote unquote white. Because if not, then they can't use you. But when it just so happens to be that ideal situation, they harness the shit out of the energy that the quote unquote black man creates and uses it for their own vile fucking agendas they're trying to push across.
Well, let's go ahead and get into it, brother, since you posed the question. In Minneapolis, it was actually Black Lives Matter, the organization, who brought the attention to the murder of George Floyd.
Actually, they not only the video that did that.
Sir, remember
that the video did that. There was no need for them to do it because the video was
give me a moment, brother. If I was a guest on your show, sir, I would be respectful. We only have a certain amount of time. Not only did they bring in the organizers to help with the creation of protests and rallies and marches, they also negotiated with officials, including the mayor of Minneapolis. They're the ones who contacted Benjamin Crump directly. I'm friends with Benjamin Crump. They did something very similar in the city of Atlanta.
You're friends with Benjamin Crump. Now it's all starting to make sense. They contacted Benjamin Crump. Okay. Yeah, bro, you realize. And this, Dr. Voddie just said it a couple moments ago. They were lining their pockets. That's why they were able to buy these posh fucking palatial estates, to quote Skip Bayless, out in Malibu and Beverly Hills. So you want to sit here and say, oh, they called up Ben Crump? Because that's a payday for them. What are you missing? The fuck are you missing, dude? It's the payday. When George Floyd died, they saw green. Cha-ching! Okay? And that's just it. They weren't doing it out of the kindness of their goddamn heart. And like the doctor said, we already saw the video. Everyone saw the video. That shit went viral. It was on the news. It was on YouTube. It was everywhere. And I speak about that all the time. How come that shit was so easily accessible? Why did they want the public to see that video? And it was up for so goddamn long. Hey, but that's a different question for a different video.
They negotiated a new plan for policing in the city of Atlanta by meeting with Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. They did something similar in Miami, LA, and also New York. That was the organization. Now, the organization, they typically would take a step back once the public gets involved. And you saw white women, white men, children, brown folks, black folks all marching in agreement that Black lives should matter. So let's talk about the social justice movement of Black Lives Matter. If Jesus was here, do you think he will say Black Lives Matter?
No. If Jesus was here, he would say the lives of his people matter, and basically the people that follow the scriptures, all right, and the commandments laid out. That's what he would say. All right. The ones that know better, the ones that know better but still decide to not do better. Well, again, I'm not Jesus, all right, and judgment's actually only reserved for the Most High. So I'm not even gonna try to put myself in that position.
The Ergo Smart Base from Tempur-Pedic responds to snoring automatically, so no hiding under your pillow or opting for the couch.
If Jesus was here, do you think he would say Black Lives Matter?
Well, if Jesus was here, he would say lives matter. I know, for example, if Jesus was here, he would say that the Black lives that are being obliterated in the womb matter. And as a Christian, I believe that lives matter from the moment of conception all the way to their moment of natural death. And
Yeah, but you know what, Doc? He don't want to hear that. He probably mad he even asked you that damn question, because now he's like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. Jesus probably would say that all lives matter, all right, and those lives in the goddamn womb that are getting killed for no goddamn reason fucking matter too.
So I'm absolutely committed to lives mattering, but I will not be held captive by an organization that has used that terminology in order to back people into a corner and cause them to live with this cognitive dissonance between the organization that, again, is antithetical to biblical Christianity, and the idea that people, regardless of who they are and where they come from, matter. I'm a Christian. I believe people are made in the image of God and have inherent dignity, worth, and value.
Let me go to a statement you made about Jesus would say all lives matter. Remember the parable of the sheep, brother?
Actually, I said Jesus would say lives matter.
Do you remember the parable of the sheep?
This guy, he's trying to misquote him. He just said it. And you think that Rashad Richey just pulled up the parable of the sheep? You think he just whipped out his Bible right now? Rashad Richey don't know the Bible. People like Rashad Richey, they don't know the Bible, okay? And I'm not sitting here trying to, put up in front that I know the Bible through and through. No, I don't. But I know more about the Bible and the scriptures and what it really means than what this guy is trying to act. He's perpetrating a fraud. What they do is they'll pick and choose scriptures to try to, change up or make the other person that they're having a discussion with sound, oh my God, Jesus, the word is literally escaped my goddamn mind, and it's not even that crazy. Contradicting themselves, right? So, but as you notice, and some of y'all might already see this in your own life. If you actually know the Bible, then those weak mind tricks don't work on us, right?
Listen, you corrected me earlier for interrupting you. I'm going to correct you now for misquoting me. I said Jesus said lives.
Okay, that's fine. That's a distinction that doesn't make a difference. My question,
yes, it does make a difference. It does.
To you was, would he say Black Lives Matter? And you did not agree that he would say Black Lives Matter. That was the genesis of my question. So my second question to you is, do you remember the parable of the sheep?
Yes.
You're a theologian.
Yes.
In that parable, Jesus talks about walking 100 sheep, and then one goes astray. The parable goes that the 99 are stopped, and attention or emphasis is placed only on the one. While we know through just a sense of humanity that all of the sheep technically matter, it's the sheep that has been put in this ditch that the shepherd stops everything, pauses everything to pay attention to that one. You see, I believe Jesus would have said Black Lives Matter because if you go to a community, brother, and you're looking at the deprivation in that community, there's an emphasis that needs to be placed on making sure we have economic equity, making sure that we have social access, making sure that we have reforms in policing and criminal justice, because those are the biases that we've been living under. So that would be the sheep in the ditch, brother, and the shepherd would pay attention to that one, as the parable says when Jesus spoke it. You don't agree with that?
Well, let me say this, and I'll be brief on this part because I do want you guys to hear what Dr. Voddie Baucham has to say. So you said we need economic equity and all this stuff, and needs extra attention placed on these communities and stuff like that. No, I don't agree with that. I think that the quote unquote Black community has everything that they need, that we need to turn things around. Only problem is you have people out of their role. All right, we already got the quarterbacks, we got the receivers, we got everything. And I'm not saying about like, oh, we have athletes. No, what I'm saying is the quarterback being the lead, and then everyone else having their own position to play. But for the problem in the quote unquote Black community is we have these goddamn liberal Black females, right? Literally playing quarterback, and they're not quarterbacks. So until the Black man steps up, right, and can lead his team, aka his home, then it's never gonna change. It's never gonna change. Period, point blank. You can mark my fucking words, okay? Mark my words. It's never going to change.
Not at all, because you completely misused that text. The parable is one of three parables that were told together: the lost sheep, the lost coin, and the lost son. The emphasis there is on the fact that the Pharisees did not celebrate when individuals came to faith in Christ. So you absolutely obliterated the meaning of that text. The other thing is this. I don't believe that Black
wait a minute. You said I obliterated. Wait a minute, Doc. You said I obliterated the meaning of the text.
So you get to finish, but I don't?
Well, I don't have unlimited time with you, brother, and I can't let you just blow me all the time.
So
you made an accusation.
And you
made an accusation.
One, you wouldn't let me get in. I'm saying you misused the text, and you won't let me, your guest,
well, go ahead and tell me how I misused the text.
After you finished.
Go ahead and tell me. You got to be quick, though, brother. How did I misuse the text?
You misused the text because you allegorized the text in order to pour your meaning into it, when Jesus very clearly used that text in order to say something very specific. You don't get to change what he meant by that.
What was the specifics of the text?
The specifics of the text were to rebuke the Pharisees because they were not celebrating when people came to faith in Christ. It didn't have anything to do with economic equity.
Let me give you my understanding of the text.
The talents makes it clear that Jesus was not about economic equity.
Brother, listen to me, brother. Allow me. Okay, I got you. I understand. You noted your rebuttal on the record.
Taking the one talent.
Got you, Doc. I got 3 minutes with you, brother. So here's my understanding of the text. The text not only was talking about those who are Pharisees, which will be the religious government structure of that time, but the text was also about the judgment that individuals had toward people, or toward those who were coming into a new understanding of who God was and who God is to them. Because the Pharisees were judgmental to the believer. Because I don't have unlimited time, let me ask you about the social movement Black Lives Matter again. Do you think the social movement of Black Lives Matter is a bad thing? Or do you think...
Yes, it's a bad thing, because they stand for Marxism. They stand to break down the family unit. They're pushing the gay agenda. Okay? Again, like I just told you, unless you can point out policies that they've been able to get enacted or get signed into law or legislation that directly affect the quote unquote black man and his ability to be the steward of his home, and they stop incentivizing these women to not have the quote unquote black man around, right? Oh, and they stop, these abortions and shit from going on like crazy, then yes, you can talk to me. But even still, again, at that point, one can make the point, and I will, if we ever get there, which I highly doubt, is that why have you not separated from BLM, knowing that they stand for this, and clearly, if you guys are able to get all this stuff passed, you don't stand for that. So why are you standing together? Okay,
It's a good thing.
No, I think it's a bad thing. I think
Tell me why.
Number one, I think it's dividing people. Let me go back to what you said earlier.
But people are already divided, brother.
Can I again, are we going to be equitable since you're about equity? Can we be equitable in the way that we communicate with one another?
I got 1 minute, man. Go ahead, Doc.
So what I'm saying is, by the way, I love this.
Yeah, it's good.
What I'm saying is that if you go to those cities that you mentioned,
you love it because you ripping this dude. Oh my God.
Yes, BLM got involved in Minneapolis and Atlanta, and the crime rate skyrocketed specifically because of the things that they got involved in.
All right, that's
you have what's called this Ferguson effect. It's absolutely true. Anybody can go and look at this at the crime records before BLM got involved and after.
Okay, all right, I got to come to a close. My producer gives me the rap sign. But I do want you to remember that in places like Baltimore, where Black Lives Matter had a strong presence as well, crime has actually decreased by double digits. Arrests have decreased by 39%. Incarceration has decreased by 28%. Murder and violent crimes has decreased by 12%.
Yeah,
you can go and get those stats. Two university studies did that. That was based on a coordinated effort between Marilyn Mosby and a reimagined prosecutorial format. And they've been able to decrease crime. Now, you talk about the rise in crime. Yes, some of these cities have seen a rise in crime, but you want to blame Black Lives Matter for the rise in crime when you are ignoring the fact that police officers called in with the blue flu, that cops refused to respond to calls, that executives and
and why did they do that? Why did they do that? They did that because they were being demonized for doing their job. Now, look, am I one of these people? All cops are good? No. There are definitely some bad cops out there. There's bad people at anything, any occupation, any job. There's fucking bad doctors, bad lawyers, bad teachers. Like there's bad everywhere. There's bad everywhere. But do we rip down the education system? Do we rip down doctors' private practices and stuff like that? No, we don't. We acknowledge that, hey, that person or that group of people are bad, but we address that. We address that. We don't go and say, let's defund the police and then call the police and then they're not coming in because they're getting fucking lambasted every goddamn time. If you are great at what you do, say you're a police officer, you're great at what you do, you literally going out there in like these inner cities, and you literally every day you go out there, it's a risk to your goddamn health. And you're literally like all you can be and more at your job. All right, you always want to be a cop, you're a cop. But then now all the stuff going on, you got people lambasting you and shit like that, saying all this stuff. You're racist and you're not good for nothing, and defund them, take them away. We don't need cops. We need more social workers to go to these calls and stuff like that. Come on, man. That's a huge slap in the face. It's a huge slap in the face to the commitment and the sacrifices that these guys and some women make. So we have to be understanding in that regard. All right, we have to be very understanding and say, hey, at the end of the day, these are people, and again, some are bad, but most aren't. So what do? We paint them with a broad stroke? No.
Law enforcement and executives as politicians.
Why should that matter? Because Black Lives Matter wants to defund the police.
Unwilling to actually police.
Black Lives Matter wants to defund the police, so they got
want
exactly
to
what they're looking
prioritize
for.
the budget.
No, sir.
Let me give you an idea.
Defund
Let me give you an idea.
police.
Let me give you an idea to consider. And they should defund it.
It's a radical Marxist idea.
And like you just heard, Rashad Richey, they should defund the police. All right, Rashad. Okay. All right, man. Hey, look, guys. This is the second video I've done on this dude, and you know what? It's clear where he stands. But you know what's crazy? The other video I did, right? So many people were in my comments like trying to back up what he was saying and stuff. Like, dude, no. We got to be able to look past the disguise that these people wear. And it's not even like a good disguise. It's like a mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can still see, you know how tall he is. You can still see the complexion. You can still see everything. You can hear his fucking voice. The nigga only has the fucking mask on, but we can't figure out who the fuck it is. Like that, he's not with us. All right, he's actually against us. All right, but anyway, y'all, you know that was basically it. This dude just got destroyed. You know, I really didn't have to do too much talking on this one, even though I did. But yeah, so check out that one, and props to Reformed Christian Teaching. You know, because I'm using their video to do this, even though I probably could have just did it straight from the TYT page. So just want to give a shout out to that page. Check out Reformed Christian Teaching. All right, I'm out.